Young lady, can you tell me your name and where you're from?
My name is Jaye, and I'm from Columbiaville, Michigan.
Jay, tell me, what kind of problems led you to this office?
Well, I was really at my last straw. I had knee problems. I couldn't walk anywhere. I was pretty much confined to a small area in my home. If I went grocery shopping, I would get out to the car and I would start to cry because it hurt so bad. And that's where I was, and was looking at having a knee replacement. Got a card in the mail about this seminar to go, presentation to go to. My husband threw it at me and he goes, "Here, I think we should do this." And I was skeptical going into the presentation and knew that this was something I wanted to do coming out of it. My husband was encouraged going in, skeptical coming out. So
just the opposite.
Just the opposite. It was a lot of fun leading up to the appointment I had with you, the consultation.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. And
well, what was your quality of life at that time like?
I had no quality of life.
Yeah?
We didn't have vacations. Well, we had vacations, but I sat on the cruise ship watching him walk off. We had we did some car trips, and my husband would go sightseeing, and I'd sit in the car and play games on my phone while he was out doing fun things. And
what about just stuff around the house? What were you not able to do? Like, how were the stairs? Could you get down on the ground? Like, what was that all like?
The stairs were awful. I had to lean, if I was carrying anything in my hands, I had to lean against the wall to support me. I would pull myself up on railings going upstairs, extremely painful. And I didn't go up and downstairs. I mean, I stayed on the first floor of our home, pretty basically. And we have a front walk that has, front doorway that has deep stairs to go out. And I would never go out the front door because I had to go out the garage door because it had shallower stairs, that type of life.
What about even going to the mail and stuff like that? Was that a chore for you, or?
Well, I couldn't. We had a very long driveway, and it had been 2 or 3 years since I walked to the road from our our home. So we live 26 acres. And,
so you had a long driveway, and it was about 2-3 years prior that you felt comfortable enough you could make that walk.
Exactly.
Wow.
We had a Kawasaki mule, and if I had to do anything on the yard, I would take the mule.
That was a safer way to go for you.
Right, to pull myself up on.
What about even just getting down on the ground or something like that?
It was okay to get down on the ground, but an extreme struggle to get up. I would have to lean against a chair or something and really push myself up. And I think I did more damage to my knees just trying to get up.
Just going through all that.
Just going through all that.
Well, it's been a little bit of time since you had this thing. Can you tell me what kind of changes?
My life is incredibly changed. I walked to the mailbox just recently. Because my grandson was driving the mule and he was a little crazy, and I said, "No, I don't feel safe. I'll meet you at the end of the driveway," and it's uphill. And I was just, I got to the driveway and he goes, "Man, Grandma, I didn't think you'd make it." I said, "I didn't think so either."
Isn't that something?
I can get up and down from the floor. I just recently walked up the stairs with a cup of coffee in my hand.
Without having to support yourself.
I was just walking up like a normal person.
Wow.
I mean, my life has just been a miraculous change for the better, and I really believe my life has been saved.
You mentioned before when you would go on trips and stuff like that with your husband, it was pretty difficult to get around. You couldn't do any. Have you had a chance to take any trips lately, and how did you do?
2 weeks after I had the injections, my mother-in-law died, and we had to fly into an airport in Minneapolis to fly out to her place. And we had less than an hour. We had 57 minutes to go from one end of gate A to the other end of gate G.
You had the whole airport.
I had the whole airport, and one of the trams wasn't working, so in 55 minutes I managed to literally, at points, run through the airport.
You were actually running?
Well, trotting. I mean, I'm not a big girl, but
yeah,
I was trotting.
And when was the last time you were able to do something like that is what I'm asking.
I can't remember.
We talking months prior? Or we talking years?
Oh, years to do that.
Years prior to that.
Right. It
Wow.
was. I had decided that if something had happened to me, if I'd gotten major cancer or something, I would have just quietly slipped away because my quality of life wasn't there.
Wow.
And now I think the whole world is open to me. We're talking about taking a trip to Europe.
Nice.
And traveling, walking around, traveling.
Where you can enjoy yourself
I
now.
can enjoy
Before
my
you
life.
were more of a spectator. Now you're participating and doing what you and your spouse want to do.
Exactly. And I was telling you earlier, gee, I can't use my knees as an excuse not to do anything anymore.
Now you're stuck doing the things that you don't want to do. That's
Exactly.
the negative, if
I
you will.
know.
But that's
everyone
the
who
negative.
knows me
Yeah.
comments on how different I am.
I'll bet.
I just am happier and just excited to do things
Good for you.
that I wasn't before. It was
Well,
the best decision I've made in my life.
Fantastic, and I really appreciate you sharing this because, obviously and like you say, you were maybe a little skeptical at first, and your husband and everything, and people have to get through that, and you went to the seminar, you got the information, but, people hearing this, it kind of encourages them that you may just want to go and check it out. It's not necessarily for everybody, but you check it out and you see if it's right or wrong, and is there anything else you would say or recommend as far as this care? I know you mentioned to me you've got some people around the country, around the world pretty much, and we talked about, and you've met other people around the country that have done this, and big changes.
Well, they are big change, and I do talk to people about it. I'm always telling people what I've done just to encourage them to look into it. I understand that I am an exceptional, have an exceptional response to this. I would never, honestly, I would never say everybody was going to have something like this.
Right, not as quick and, maybe
Right.
not to the same degree, but yeah, you definitely had a great
I
response
had
for
a
this,
great
absolutely.
response, and
Yeah.
I would encourage anybody to do this just in case they would have a great response like this. Why not take that opportunity to change your life to make it where,
Yeah.
I could be on this. I'm always telling people about this. I feel like an insurance salesman that people are going to start turning away from you when they see I'm coming.
Like here she comes again, she's going to talk about those thumbs up, but they just don't realize you can't feel another person's pain. You can't feel the anguish when they can't go and spend time with a family member or spend time with people or do certain things. You just can't, you don't understand until you've lived and walked in their shoes.
Exactly. Prior to this, the thought of vacuuming a room was something I just couldn't do, and I can vacuum now. And that sounds kind of pathetic. Oh boy, I can vacuum now, but vacuuming takes a lot of your knees.
Right.
And it's just.
Well, people take that for granted. You're used to doing something,
Right.
and all of a sudden, you even said to me, you got to get used to the way you're walking now because it's different from before. You had to compensate and everything else, and that takes a while as well too. But
It does.
you've done very, very well.
I've lost 3 pounds.
Now you're more active. You can
'Cause
move. You couldn't move before.
can move
That's
now.
another thing that we hear quite a bit,
Yeah.
from people.
Just the fact that I'm not sitting in at my office chair because I can't walk and do anything. Well, let's go shopping. No, I just don't feel good enough to do that today.
Right.
So I want to
Excellent.
thank you so much.
Oh,
for
you're very
bringing
welcome,
this
Jay.
to
We're
the-
really, really happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
We're extremely happy for you, and like I say, it's just wonderful to hear these changes that you've been able to make.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story.
My very big pleasure.
Thank you.